Welcome to the War Room, a weekly roundtable discussion that takes place every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in at 911warroom.com/Zoom.
I hear you, Lawrence, so I'm going to work on that, but let's get started. It's 5:03, June 12th, 2022. 2022. Too many 20s. Lots to do in the news. I'm going to do that after. Sandra, why don't you guide us through the NFPA thing while I work on my audio, and then we'll do news after that.
Okay. Well, I don't, I'm just going to leave the floor to Al and Susan and Lawrence, those guys who were at the NFPA.
I didn't go.
Yeah, I couldn't go either because of work, but Al was there and he has a lot to report.
Right, and I'm sure you guys know a lot of stuff already that went down, and I'm sure you guys saw Richard and his whole gang when they were there, right?
Yeah.
And so basically, I'm just going to recap quickly. It was the NFPA conference in Boston that took place Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that Boston 9/11 Truth had done an amazing fundraiser for. They brought in, as far as I know, upwards of $9,000, which is absolutely stunning. And it still was barely enough to cover all the costs. I know it was an expensive conference. You guys brought in Richard Gage, Eric Lawyer of Firefighters for 9/11 Truth, and
I need to interject. We still couldn't cover Eric's flight. So if anybody wants to donate $50 here and there, we can cover his flight.
Right. He did volunteer to pay for his flight if the funds were tight, but it would be nice if he didn't have to.
Yes.
So anybody who still wants to donate, it will go directly to Eric, who had to pay out of his pocket. And the third big person there was Raul Angulo, who wrote the book on the NFPA standards. And guys, just correct me if I'm screwing something up, because I might have some details wrong.
That's him, yeah.
And so the three of them were there. Gail obviously was there too. And from everything that it was a massive expo. I mean, I saw the pictures. That place was huge. And you guys managed to somehow get a table that was right near the food courts. So every time people went out for a bite or for a drink, all in a good mood, they stopped by the booth. And that's it. All I hear is that you guys were bombarded with people who had questions, who actually wanted to tell you what they knew about 9/11. Because this did not happen under the 9/11 banner. This happened as a fire protection initiative of people in the field who had concerns about the tower that fell in a way that it shouldn't have. So, Al, you were there.
He did an amazing YouTube video interview of Eric and Raul.
I saw that.
Very, very well done.
Super well done. Everybody was super well spoken and very professional. Yeah, right there. I don't think we can hear it though.
No, I was just going to let it play.
Okay.
In the background
So
while you guys
that's
are
the
talking.
visual.
Those guys did an unbelievable job, and they laid it out in no uncertain terms.
Yeah.
And
I guess, let's play what Raul said here, because I'm amazed how well versed he was in this. You guys don't know.
He wrote the book.
Yeah. Just play a little.
It's one thing to have an editor behind you, and then it's another to be well spoken. So
let me just
they
play,
knocked it out of the park. They really did.
Just play 2 minutes of it here real quick. If this
Thank you.
works.
still can't hear it though.
I am the
okay.
why
good,
am I
good.
here? Well, I was invited by Papa, and I am the author of the recent edition of Engine Company Fireground Operations, 4th edition, which is published by Jones and Bartlett Publishing, and in conjunction with NFPA. This is the most recent and comprehensive textbook on strategy and tactics for firefighting, and published to date. And there's a high-rise chapter in the book, which caused me to really study the case studies in the United States, as well as some around the world, like the Grenfell fire. And in my research of the case studies, I realized that to date, there's been no structural collapse of any high-rise building as a result of fire. And so the book was published, and then I was contacted by Papa. They were asking me about, what about the Solomon Brothers building, which is building 7 of the World Trade Center. I was aware that it did collapse. A lot of people don't. They only think that there's 2 collapses. You know, building, plane, collapse. But there was actually the 3rd building that collapsed later on in the day. And so they turned me onto the website, and I was not familiar with the videos that were available as
Was that an intentional stop?
Gene is frozen.
Yeah, either Gene's
Oh, here we go.
frozen or the video's frozen.
Yep.
Or we're all frozen.
Or both.
as well as the NIST study, which I did study and read, and I was not familiar with the study that came out of the University of Alaska. So after going through all that information, you know, I had to yield to their concerns and basically agree. My consensus is that I don't agree that Building 7 collapsed as a result of fire. I realized that NIST did their speculation on modeling. There was no real hard evidence theorized, which makes the University of Alaska study so important because they didn't agree with it and they did their own modeling and came up with it.
It's going to take him a while to talk through it. I don't want to have us rewatch the whole video, but he and Eric both, from what I've heard from you guys, were invaluable in being there. And Richard, his proactive nature and reaching out and grabbing people, engaging in people.
And Gail too.
And Gail too, yeah. It was a crack team. Like if you were going to get a bunch of people together for a bank robbery, you'd get so many people. But if you wanted to do this, we got the right people. So
Yeah, this is Ocean's 5.
right?
And I'm sure it didn't hurt to have Gail there. She drew in all the guys who look check her out.
Right.
It's easy on the eyes.
So they
where can we find this video?
It's on
it is
YouTube.
a Boston 9/11
Papa
Truths
takes a
website.
stand.
Super.
And
Yeah, this needs to get out to every firefighting department and around the world.
It
yes.
speaks to their concerns.
Yep.
And that's what I've been trying to tell people all along. Listen before you talk. Pay attention to who your audience is and address their concerns. And this is what this did, and huge success. Exceeded my expectations.
Well
I
exceeded.
would recommend everybody sending it out to your email list. I've been trying to get it out to everybody I can possibly send it to. I want to get it on Kevin Barrett's show. I don't know if, what's the other guy that, anyway, anybody that knows anybody out there, because this goes right to the heart of the matter. There's no equivocation on the NIST report and what these guys have to say. And it's absolutely dead on in terms of what we wanted to accomplish. And it was the easiest sell I ever had to do. If I could get as many people as I did in real estate, I'd be a millionaire. But they were all lined up and wanting to know what this was all about. When they went by, the first thing I would point to is the TVs, which were critical. And I said, do you know about building the Solomon building that went down in 7 seconds? And they would, a lot of them didn't know, some did. I said, the guy standing next to you, I pointed out Raul, I said, former captain of the Seattle Fire Department, wrote the book for the NFPA on how to set up a command center inside the building, and that none of these buildings were in danger of collapsing. However, the NIST report claims that the fires took the buildings down, and there's a real discrepancy between what NIST is saying and what the NFPA has to say about setting up your command centers and fighting high-rise office fires. So that was the storyline, and they all got it. I mean, there were very few, but some would try to debunk it while you were talking, but mostly everybody said, yeah, no way, that building couldn't have possibly come down just because of office fires. So,
and Al, were
Yeah.
those people, those reactions, were those people who already agreed beforehand that it couldn't have been? Or are there people that this was news to and they're like, wow, no, I didn't know. And yes, I agree that could not happen.
yeah, no, I would say the majority that I talked to didn't know about Building 7. And they agreed that, they just shook their heads and said, nah, that's not possible, according to what NIST had to say.
I'd like to add that there was a special signer or somebody that added their name to the email list that Susan told me about.
Someone who's on the board for the NFPA.
Wow,
Yeah.
Well,
that's amazing.
So you guys not only had the booth and the backdrop, but you also had this other area to sit in?
That was
Oh.
actually a common area that was set up for, people eating lunch. Luckily, that was right next to us. And there were tables across from us. We were both, that were for people that wanted to sit down. We were next to the restrooms and the food court. So we had a captive audience.
That's so awesome.
But the best thing that
Good-
happened
good
there,
say.
well, there are a couple of things. A couple of guys came by, and they were they represented the company that did the sprinkler systems, both
Yeah.
in the World Trade Center and Building 7. And they are in the process of a lawsuit with the Silverstein Corporation, claiming that their sprinkler systems didn't work, and that was the cause of the collapse.
Right.
So they were all over us and wanting to know what we knew, and Raul is going to contact them. He sat down and talked to them for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it was a home run. I mean, it was absolutely perfect. The other thing that happened is that Raul and Eric both went and met with the board member of the NFPA. Didn't get into the subject, but made them aware of our presence there. And so there's going to be follow-up on that level. Subsequent to the event, Raul called me, and evidently there's a textbook which has its own chapter that the NFPA had that talked about how to fight high-rise fires in high-rise buildings. And he was unaware that that chapter was in that book, even though he had written his own book talking about it. Protocol had it that, you go in, you set up your command center. This is something that's been ongoing, for 20 years, as long as he's been aware. And so he wants in the NFPA report, there's a whole chapter on reaffirming what he's saying about how you handle high-rise fires. So why is that important? That puts NFPA in direct contradiction to NIST. And the board members of the NFPA are going to have to, forgive my terminology, shit or get off the pot, because they are staring at scenario where they have to address this. 'Cause you just can't get around it.
It's a
And
discrepancy.
Mhm.
they either have to challenge NIST, NIST either has to redo their report, or if the NFPA is unwilling, then they have to change all their literature, meaning the chapter in their book, and Roll would have to change his book. And so there's a real, two freight trains running at each other. And this is what makes it so perfect, because you couldn't get anything more dead on than having this staring in your face. And they can't hide from it. There's nothing they can do. They either change their report or they go after NIST. So it's going to get real interesting, and you couldn't have asked for a better outcome. This was right at the jugular of what we've been fighting for forever.
Al,
Yeah.
Al, I'm just going to interrupt you for 2 seconds, because first of all, it's 5:20. And
Okay.
secondly, Richard joined the call, and I wanted to welcome Richard to the call, and I'm sure he
Oh,
wants to
cool.
weigh in.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I'll give Jean the minute, and then we'll pick it up and have Richard chime in as well.
Great.
Yep.
That's
take a
okay?
Few seconds,
guys.
everybody. Hey, Richard, just take a few seconds of
Howdy.
prayer here real quick. Lord, just come to you. We thank you so much for this opportunity that just happened. We thank you for all these souls that continue to fight and press for 9/11 justice. We thank you for the protection, that it was a success. And we pray that more doors will open from this. We thank you for this day and this opportunity to come together. In your name, amen. Thank you, everybody.
Amen.
I was trying to find the picture. Somebody had a picture where out to the left of this screen, there was a huge banner for this, how important sprinklers are, sprinkler systems.
Yeah,
That's in the interview.
Okay.
When you're looking at the interview picture with Roel, myself, and Eric, you'll see that van that they have there. Now, keep going.
Oh, there it is. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was a perfect backdrop. I didn't realize
Both from original.
we got to that.
So what's really great is the person that Raul, as I understand it, the person that Captain Angulo can
Jean,
go
do you
to.
want to mute? Do you want to mute everybody? Because there's someone who's got like a lot of background noise, or whoever. If you know that it's you, just mute yourselves. Sorry, go ahead.
It could be. Check, check.
No, you're good.
Okay. The gentleman that he can speak to, and I'm forgetting the name right now, really believes in sprinkler fitters for commercial buildings from now on. So there is an opportunity that Captain Angulo can have a discussion with somebody that can really make change in the NFPA. So that's amazing. I wish I could remember the name. It might be open on one of these many tabs I have open.
I think the guy's name is Corey, who's one of the board members. Richard, you could correct me on that, but Richard's muted.
Yeah, Richard's muted.
Just on mute. There we go.
I can't remember the name.
Yeah. I'm gonna make Sandra the co-host. It was a popular last name, but anyways, he's gonna hopefully he'll make a bridge there.
I think the feedback is coming from somebody, obviously, who's not muted. That would either be Susan or Lawrence or Sandra.
Yeah, it's
Check,
not-
check, check.
Now Lawrence is muted.
Still happening. Check, check, check.
No, it's gone. I think it might have been Lawrence.
Front row, Lawrence.
can you hear it now?
Check, check.
Cliff. No.
Okay, well, I'm unmuted now, so it wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't you. But it's gone and Susan's muted, so it might have been her. Hi, Miles.
Those darn cats are hers, no doubt.
Yeah, right.
Maybe the setup I have, I'm having problems with my mic, so maybe I have a feedback somewhere.
Jean, it's Trina. Hi, everybody. From what I can see, Jean, you're the only one that's showing up green on the mics and the list of participants. So
Well, I'm
it
also
it
green.
may be your sound, dear. Thank you.
Thank you. If it keeps rolling on, then just let me know and we'll figure something out. Real quick, let's go into the 9/11 news and then we'll come back to this because I think this is probably the highlight of everything. Just drag the screen over here and do it this way. Not Roger Waters. This is a pretty wild story. U.S. golfers at Saudi LIV Golf branded traitors by families of 9/11 victims sold us out. So basically, Saudi Arabia sponsored a golf outing, and it's made the victims' family members really upset to the point now that the PGA has suspended not 15 of the 19 members. That's funny. PGA Tour suspended 17 players, including the only one you guys probably have ever heard of, Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Kevin Na. So that's pretty profound. What they wrote here is kind of upsetting because they're still blaming it on Muslims. I'm just going to read right here. Given Saudi Arabia's role in the death of our loved ones and those injured on 9/11, your fellow Americans, we are angered that you are so willing to help the Saudis cover up this history and their request for respectability. When you partner with the Saudis, you become complicit with their whitewash and help give them the reputational cover they so desperately crave and are willing to pay handsomely to manufacture. They're still cleaving on to the official narrative, but it's kind of nice to have them, they're still putting the pressure.
Right.
Because even if Saudi Arabia folds, that's a good thing. That's that one. GOP leader on passing gun safety laws. This was a meme that's been going around. We didn't ban planes after 9/11. So a meme that's been going around, and I shared it. After 9/11, we didn't ban planes. We secured our cockpits, secure our schools now. But that's funny that a GOP leader is now using it in his repertoire. If anybody wants to chime in on any of these, please feel free. Yahoo News, The Boys star Carl Urban talks butcher, bond rumors, and why 9/11 firefighters are the real heroes. I didn't get to read this, but we all know that the 9/11 firefighters are truly heroes. We wish we could get more of them on board, but hopefully this NFPA conference is the avenue to do that.
It's the one thing that everybody can agree on, that the firefighters are the heroes in this.
Yep.
Gene,
Yes.
it's Mike Perazzo.
Hi, Mikey.
Hi. I don't have my video on right now for reasons that I don't need to discuss, but so I'm friends with a firefighter that was in Rudy Dent's company on Facebook, and he always posts like really radical conspiracy stuff, kind of like Rudy did, but they didn't know each other for like, I don't know, they knew each other, but they weren't like friends with each other for like the past 10 years, that Rudy was around. But I'm friends with him, and I always like try and get him to come on the calls, but for some reason he just thinks this is a waste of time for some odd reason, even though he's happy to spread all that other conspiracy shit. And I was just wondering if either you or Sandra would be willing to kind of like back me up or kind of talk to him and see if he'd be willing to get on here, because I really think, like you guys said, the firefighters are the real heroes, and we're doing this for them as well as the family members as well.
Is it Tim Duffy, perchance?
No, it's not Tim. I can't use Messenger right now because Facebook violated my First Amendment right, but I will email it. I'll email you his profile.
Okay. Yeah, we glad
Is
to try to
he,
talk to him.
is he aware of the NFPA conference? Does he know what just went down?
I don't believe so. I know that he lives in New York and he is a retired firefighter from Ladder 133. You're friends with him. His name is Craig Bussieri.
Okay.
Gene, you're friends with him, and Tim Duffy's friends with him, and his profile picture is the American flag upside down.
Okay.
Well, I
Who's
mean, we
here?
can reach out to him, but at the same time, obviously, we can't force his hand.
No, you
And
can't
if,
force his hand, but he's always posting conspiracy stuff, and he cares about the guys from 9/11 that died and shit. But like, I don't understand why he wouldn't be willing to at least like tell his story or do something to get involved. I don't know, like what he doesn't have to like go on the record or anything, but kind of like Rudy did, but just something, even just if he got on one of these calls and just talked or whatever, that'd be good enough,
right,
Yeah,
well,
there you
it's
go.
hard to know what motivates people and what drives people and,
We've got their
I'd love to talk
pensions.
to him myself. So Mike or Gene, if you would forward me his contact info, I'd love to get in touch with him. We're
Oh,
always
yeah.
looking. We're always
Is that-
looking for awake firefighters.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris was just here last weekend at my house and we were hanging out and we actually had more than 90% of the reason. The reason he was here was not because of 9/11, but obviously I couldn't help myself and I had to talk to him about it.
Mikey, hold on a second, just specify that as Christopher Joya, because maybe Richard doesn't realize that that's who you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Christopher Joya was at my house and we were hanging out for reasons not related not to 9/11, but classic car stuff that me and him were into. And then of course while he was here, I couldn't help myself and we, had 9/11 conversations and I told him about all these other firemen that I know, not friends but acquaintances of course. And he said that I'm going to write a letter that is not only good to bring to, non-mainstream news sources, but also to other firemen that how they could get involved or at least just wake them up type of thing, And so he said he was working on it this week when I texted him. So I guess maybe by this week it'll be all done. And I'll shoot it to you guys as well so you can hand it out to anybody else that you know that might want to get involved but not really sure how they can, because I really do truly feel like the firemen are like the number one people that we should be attracting, because like this event like killed all their friends and that's not cool.
Richard, this is an interesting fact. On 9/11, this past September 9/11, Chris Joya and Mike were fixing Mike's pickup truck in Chris's driveway.
Yeah,
so they're
about
pretty,
2 hours before he went on camera.
Wow.
so they're
Yeah,
pretty
should've been at
close.
Ground Zero.
Yeah, he should have been at ground zero. Yes. Anyway,
No excuses, unforgivable.
even if you're fixing your car with Chris Joya.
Well, we would have been down there except it broke down. So
Oh, oh that's
that
why.
typical Ford product, man, and the license plate on it's FDNY 343. So
Nice.
yeah,
Send me a picture of your license plate. That's cool.
yeah.
All right. Back
So,
to go ahead.
Craig, I'll give you his info.
Mike,
you
what's
got-
your last name?
Bussieri.
No, yours.
Oh, Perazzo.
With a P as in Paul?
Yeah, we're all Guidos.
Al, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're talking to firefighters, the first thing I would put in front of them is that interview with Roel and Eric.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing more that needs to be said, basically. If you want, I mean, we are PAPA, which is Protecting All Protectors Alliance. So right away, we're on their side. We're not attacking them in any way. And if you're talking to a fireman, you know, I mean, that would be the first place that I would direct them. And if they walk away and say, well, I don't know, but I mean, basically, these are the real deal, you know, Roel and Eric are firemen, and they would, I can't imagine you, they wouldn't identify with them.
I'm just
Yeah,
seeing
I would love to get that interview.
this for those flyers were full color flyers right there. Oops. You had a full 8.5 by 11 of basically the 8 by 8. Is that what I'm seeing on the table there?
No, I don't know what you're looking at.
Right in front of you in this interview. Gonna make it
I
bigger.
got something on the bottom here. I don't.
That's the card that is an 8.5 by 5-inch card that we were handing out.
Oh, wonderful. There we go. I
Yes, there they are. Yeah.
mean, that's quality. And you handed out roughly 300.
I think almost 400.
I think we had 400. Yeah.
I love
And-
this background. Sprinkler fitters save lives.
But Gene, maybe, I don't know if there's any other logistics involved, maybe you can put this up in the war room for anybody who wants to download it and reproduce it to give it out and make
Well,
their
I
own
think-
copies.
I don't know if Eric's going to be doing this or if I'm going to be doing it. Whoever's going to be updating the Papa website, all of
Well, or
this.
make it available on the Papa website, whichever,
Yeah.
but just make it available somewhere for people who can, you know.
The real
make their own
nice
copies.
presentation with all the photos and everything, the handouts, the flyers, all that would be on that website. And we could all link to it. That'd be I think that'd be a good.
Gene,
Yes, sir.
I had sent you an email about getting in touch with Roel about doing some research to get the chapter on the NFPA textbook on high-rise office fires.
Okay.
Did you get that or not?
I did get it. I haven't looked over that yet. Yeah.
Okay, just give him a call when you have a chance, because he asked me to reach out to you.
Okay, 10-4. Susan?
There we go. Okay. I just wanted to ask, address the follow-up question. Richard, Gail got, we provided with her a scanner of badges for contact information. Do you have the final number of how many we can contact or Eric can contact?
I don't have an exact number. It was upwards of 300,
That's cool.
and Eric has that database.
Okay. So the follow-up is extremely important.
really
I'm sure he
is.
knows that.
The intention is to create a graduated series of emails every 3 weeks or so, beginning with an invitation to look at the website for PAPA, Protecting All Protectors Alliance, whose website URL is protectingall.org. Did you get a chance to go there yet today, Gene?
I am bringing it up right now. I have not.
Yeah, protectingall.org. What you see here is, this is the URL that was on the card that we were just looking at. And it actually begins with the trailer and the film for calling out Bravo 7. Bravo 7 in firefighter terms means building 7. And so this is from a fire made by a firefighter. And it's really, really excellent and packed and full of information I'd never seen before. So I encourage everybody to watch it over at protectingall.org. And then underneath that, Gene, is this interview
Oh.
that we just heard about. And then underneath that is this article, 50-page article written by Paul Cayley, a firefighter in the UK. It's excellently written, and it highlights the problem that Al was talking about earlier that says, hey, if NIST is correct and this building went down due to fire-induced progressive collapse, well, that's unprecedented. First of all, it should have been the most studied building failure in history. So what this talks about is the fact that firefighters go into these high-rise buildings routinely to put out fires. Well, if the building can now all of a sudden, well, 15 years ago anyway, come down on us due to the final report published in 2008, us being not only the firefighters, but the actual public, the tenants in the building, they're told to wait. Don't clog up the stairways. We're trying to get up the stairways as firefighters to set our forward staging operations 2 floors below the fire. And our command center, gonna have to go on mute. Our command, their command center is on the lobby, in the lobby. So this is a huge problem that is unaddressed by the National Fire Protection Association. So we were able to speak to high-level NFPA officials, we being Eric and Raul primarily, and fire commissioners, deputy police chiefs, fire chiefs, and deputy fire chiefs, and a lot of fire protection engineers. It doesn't look like there's thousands of people in this building, but there was never a time when we couldn't reach out and snag somebody walking by, point to the demolition and say, did you know we lost our first type 1 fire protected building ever in history? This is really important, and yet it's not being talked about. And so we didn't tell them that it was on 9/11. We didn't tell them that it was Building 7 at the World Trade Center, unless they asked. Some of them asked, we told them. Some of them pointed to it and said, that's a controlled demolition. I'd say that happened maybe 5% of the time. And then we'd hand them, we would reward them with the movie 7. I brought 20 free copies of 7 and gave them all out under those circumstances. That's the movie about Professor Halsey's study on World Trade Center 7. I also gave out to some who were also actual conspiracy theorists like myself. I would give them Ed Asner's Solving the Mystery of World Trade Center 7. He narrated it, and it is 15 minutes long, and we had a little DVD there we were handing out. So it was just hugely successful. I was never waiting more than 60 seconds to talk to somebody. So I would grab them. I would point out all the things that I just pointed out, show the fires that have never brought a typical, a high-rise steel frame fire protected high-rise down ever in history. And yet here's the first one. So what do we do? Like Al said, the author of the book written for the NFPA with their stamp on it says, go into these buildings and put out the fires. He says, I can't stand by this book if the NIST report is correct. If it's wrong, the NFPA needs to reject it. So he had these kinds of conversations with very highly placed individuals. So we have a lot of confidence that this conversation is going to wind its way up the chain of command at NFPA, and we'll be on their ass. Well, Eric and Raul will be. So that's all real good news.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's why Susan was saying the follow-up is so important, because you know, it's easy for them to go home and yeah, right now it seems pressing, but then life happens and then they get distracted and carried away again and onto other things. But if you keep coming back and keep reminding them somehow or somehow keep it on their radars, then they will feel more compelled to actually keep on going with it.
Yeah.
So send people to protectingall.org. Protectingall.org.
I'm
Awesome.
just curious, what was playing on the TV? Was it just the collapse of 7, like the 7 seconds in a continuous loop, or did you have other things running there too?
There's about 11 different videos of 7, and they're all shown. So
Gotcha.
within 10 seconds, you can see in this 1 minute loop, the next angle of 7 coming down.
There's the Dan Rather version right there. The one we all know.
Mhm.
I love this photo. Wait, where is it? You guys went to Cheers. That's freaking awesome.
It was.
And as I understand it, Cheers doesn't look anything like the TV show when you're actually in it, correct?
Well, upstairs, they have the set that they did some filming in, and it has the complete surrounding bar, surrounding the bartender.
Right.
But
It
that's
doesn't-
only for the shots that are pointed, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Certain shots. Guys, I'll be right back, sorry.
Yep. Lawrence, you're up.
You're muted.
Yeah, I was just saying, let me unmute myself and you couldn't hear me, could you? I took this opportunity after this event and shared that video of the interview with Al and Eric and
Raul?
Raul. Thank you. And I reapproached my fire chief here in Hudson with very, very short, concise, an update that I had approached him a while back, asking for support, letting him know that our local group was going to be looking for space at the National Fire Protection Conference. This was, just right after you all shared it at the beginning. Sandra, that was brilliant idea. I get that you're the mama of the idea
Of what?
of having a presence at the National Fire Protection Association.
No.
Oh, it
no.
was Jean.
No, it was
Oh,
Jean's.
Say,
Yeah.
They told me it was you, and then Jean took it. Okay, so it was Jean's from
No,
the.
you got it wrong, honey.
Oh, sorry.
I just connected it to Boston because it's
Oh, okay.
the obvious connection to me.
Yeah.
I'm just a street rat that found it in my work email and passed it
You're
on.
not just that, and that's what I wanted to interject, all the work you did with the website and the graphics. There are behind the scenes heroes on
Yep.
this whole event, and you're definitely one of them. The other one you saw pictured was Chris Bergier, who hasn't been on this call, so you all don't know him. But he's been very active with Boston 9/11 Truth, and he
Eric-
really came to I'm not sure of what the expression is, but he rose to the occasion. There we go. Rose to the occasion and really did a lot of work trucking people around, being there to help. You see him in the pictures there. He's, really so many heroes behind this whole project. It's just, I'm so grateful.
Don't forget yourself, so.
Yeah.
Well, I just do the bookkeeping, the boring stuff.
Well, Eric did almost all of the graphic work. Eric and Richard did. They've got this one together at the last minute because I was with my son trying to move him back from Denver. But I got to hand it to Eric for last minute, getting this stuff together and out the door.
Yeah.
Striking.
I'm so glad to see him back in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Great. And then all of the Boston 9/11 Truth people that did money for you guys, those are to come up with $9,000 in that short of notice was amazing. From
It blew me away that we had a challenge. And the challenger thought it wouldn't be met, so there would be no risk. Okay, if anybody donates $2,000, I will match it. And it got matched. Damn it.
Well, the thing is, you still need someone who's willing to match it. I mean, that's a lot of money to match. It's not everybody got that in their back pocket, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's several people with their hands up. I don't know if,
yeah.
I'll take mine off because I
take mine.
said what I needed to say.
and Lawrence, I don't know if you said what you wanted to say.
Miles
Pretty
is
much.
up.
Oh, there's just one more thing. I was involved in an accident, and I took the opportunity to share some information about 9/11 with the attending a police officer and the person who actually struck me, who was a Navy veteran. So every opportunity.
Right.
Well, he owed you that much. If he hit you, then the least he can do is hear you out, right?
Exactly. And my police chief. So I don't know what else to do.
Oh,
You could
all
share
we
this
can do.
stuff. Yep.
Keep reaching out.
Miles, you're up.
Okay. Wow, this is so powerful. So I'm in Canada. I had a friend some years ago. Sadly, he's passed away, and we both worked for the railway. But one of the things he did is he was also a volunteer firefighter. And in fact, he did training for his volunteer firefighting crew in a small town in British Columbia. And as I recall, they had meetings every month to do little training sessions. And I would imagine there's a huge population of these volunteer firefighters around Canada and the United States. And what we have is, sure, there's this NFPA event once a year, I guess, in some big convention center, and there's the elite people from firefighting departments get to attend these things. They're just the tip of the iceberg, but there's a massive population that needs to be provided this. So question, how much is that NFPA book, I wonder? And could this all be packaged to offer it to all these little training events that are scheduled and saying, okay, I'm a representative of Protect All, and I'm deputized to be a facilitator. Do you want me to attend your next training session and bring a copy of the NFPA book? And then one more thing I'll just add to this. Same thing with engineering engineering groups in Canada. They're provincially regulated or state regulated, as the case in the United States, but they have branches. And similarly, these engineering society branches have monthly meetings. And we again could go forth to these people and say, here's the circumstances around firefighting. You should be aware of this. And oh, by the way, there is a little bit of an issue here because you got what we're telling you is contrary to what the American Society for Civil Engineering and NIST are purporting. Somebody's not right, but you should supposedly feel comfortable fighting fires. Thoughts?
Thank you, Miles. Raul Angulo's book is available. You can get it through the NFPA website, but you get it through Jones and Bartlett. And I will find, he gave us a discount code, but I think you guys should, the 9/11 Truth community deserves that. that
It's
code.
$62 on Amazon.
Thank you. And
good idea. I think that's a fantastic idea, Miles. I think we should be prevailing upon Papa to have a membership that we can join and to have materials that we can use at conventions like that or even smaller training events or conferences. That has not been discussed, to my knowledge, by Eric Lawyer, who founded the organization. By the way, he's the founder also of Firefighters for 9/11 Truth back in 2009 or so,
Yes,
2008.
should write that stuff down. Miles again. Al?
Yeah, I just want to go back to the business about the safety of going into high-rise, burning high-rise buildings. And Eric brought up in the interview that the fire in, I think it was London, had a real problem. There was a raging high-rise fire. And the firemen, because they had followed the NIST recommendations, were afraid to go into the building due to sudden building collapse. And I hope I have that right, but as I recall in the interview we did, Eric was saying that. And it's a perfect example of they got to get their act straight, because it would affect firefighters all over the world. And in fact, it already is, if they're claiming that, those buildings can come down due to sudden collapse. The firemen aren't going to go in and set up their command centers. So it was a real telling moment, I thought, as an example. I just wanted to point that out.
You. Ross?
Yes, I'm glad to see Richard here today too. And
Hey, Ross.
hey, Richard. So I'm glad also to see still AIA behind your name. So I'm wondering, in regards to the PAPA convention, are you, now that you're unleashed, are you thinking you have the interest to be going to the AIA conventions again independently and getting a booth there, maybe similar sort of thing, a fundraiser, and being at the AIA conventions any longer, or have you given up on them?
Well, we had given up on them, and the reason was that they did not allow us to have an evidence booth any longer. We got a letter from them saying that our missions are not compatible. So we didn't try again. That was 6 years, 7 years, maybe 8 years ago. So I would love to go back to the AIA conventions. I don't know if they'll allow us.
Would they allow you as Papa? For a concern for firefighters architecturally, buildings?
I don't know.
Bit of a stretch. I sent a copy of the interview to Ted Walter, hoping that he would want to, endorse us under PAPA. I haven't heard any more from him, but I thought that was a great way of getting your foot in the door.
Good job, Al. Yeah.
I'm just, maybe there's a chance, Richard, it's a little abstract at this point, but as I've been looking into the towers and into these new towers that are going up here in New York, the Billionaires Row, and how those towers are significant design differences from the Twins. And of course, the Twins turn out to be, a highly efficient way of building towers. Maybe there's a way we should be reintroducing those construction methods, maybe even taunt them a bit, say, well, and how do we make them so that they, will be better this time around? Because they really wouldn't have much of an answer for that, but I don't know if there's a way to, because again, people are realizing how iconic the towers were. And one of the reasons was their engineering and their, the design concept being so much about efficiency. To this day, I mean, it's just, when you go to the National Skyscraper Museum here in New York, it's the one tower is second only to one big new tower in China in terms of usable square footage over ground floor footprint. I don't know if they entertain any of those kind of things about design approaches in their booths, but maybe we can resurrect the towers and, you know, not about 9/11, but about just their inherent design benefits. I don't know if that's anything to think about. But.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in favor of spending my time highlighting the evidence for controlled demolition, which we did not do at this convention. We decided to go under the radar. That was Eric's idea. Eric came out of retirement from the 9/11 truth community after many, many years of doing his own thing, which was more spiritual work. And yet his captain at the Seattle Fire Department started having questions and talking to him. And those two got the idea that, you know, when we approached them, Al and I, with the concept of having a booth, I didn't know that we had a fire captain who wrote the book on how to fight high-rise fires for the NFPA. And when Eric told me that, we're just getting all giggly. We will raise the money. We have to raise the money. We have to be there. And Raul Angulo actually paid for his own flight himself to get there. So did Eric Lawyer. It's just a miracle that this happened at all.
Mhm.
So we'd love for it to happen again. It seems that Eric is committed to the Papa organization, though he's got his hands full with all kinds of.
Have a great day.
Sorry about
Mike,
that. I got him.
yeah, there you go. Thanks, Mike. Anyway, thought that would add that in.
Yeah.
Yep.
A perfect storm of people came together.
Yeah.
Oh, you're up. You're muted. There you go.
Morning, guys.
Aloha.
Just a couple questions. Actually, Richard just touched on it. I was wondering when and if Eric's going to speak again.
Well,
And
he will
Oh,
be
go
on
ahead.
my podcast, Cale. We got a
good.
date if you want to know what
Awesome.
it is. I think it's
Yeah.
June 20. I think it's June 21st at 1
Okay.
p.m. Pacific. I'll just verify that for you real quick. And yes, June 23rd, Thursday.
Oh,
Oh, you broke up there, Richard.
Unleashed. But before that, Eric Lawyer will be on Richard Gage 9/11 Unleashed, June 23rd, 1 p.m. Pacific. But before that, we have Seattle firefighter Captain Raul Angulo, Thursday, June 16th at 1 p.m. Pacific on the podcast also.
okay. Awesome.
So you'll hear from them.
So nice to see Eric kind of back in it.
Yeah, it really is.
He has a way of setting it out there where he's just going by the protocol. And
Standards.
you really can't get around that, right?
Well, they seem to be getting around it, but
yeah,
it's
of
hard to
course.
hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to do it this time. We might have them by the short hairs.
And then my observation, I want to say, Miles and Sandra, you guys are in Canada. If you had taken from the kind of like the format that Richard and Al did in Boston, you could do something with that, the firefighters. What is that they're doing with the firefighters in Canada?
They're having a convention later this
Miles.
summer,
Yeah, in August.
an International Firefighters Association conference.
Oh, there you go. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you
these
established
big
it.
events, but just the local little training sessions that they,
Uh-huh.
I understand, have monthly, which is the frontliners of either volunteer. It's typically a mix in these small towns and cities. They have their paid crew, but there are people in the community that volunteer, and they also participate in monthly training events. It just
Is
seems
this
like,
near-
wow, what a great thing to put into a package, a copy of the NFPA book, and say, look, we're here to facilitate a training event. Give us a half an hour. We'll give you a
Yeah.
copy of this NFPA
But
book.
one doesn't
That's a
exclude
great-
the other miles. I mean, it's both.
No,
both
no,
can
they don't.
happen.
It's both. Absolutely.
You know,
Is
it's true. I
this-
mean, this firefighters convention in Ottawa, it's mid-August.
Ottawa.
It might be something that's worth looking
Yeah.
into doing. I don't know who can go, who can cross the border, who can't. I mean, we're all, you know.
Well,
we're
looks,
all in-
that's a fantastic looking booth. It's just a matter of, getting another, I don't know how much it would cost this time to sponsor the
Yeah, I
Ottawa
know,
event,
but who would come? Who would come? Right now, you can't enter Canada if you're not vaccinated.
Is
So that,
Miles in Ottawa or Quebec? Are you in
I'm in
Quebec?
Calgary, which is west.
yeah,
Oh, okay. You're in Quebec, then.
it's about a 24-hour drive, so, you know.
All right.
But yeah, it's just if you're not vaccinated,
Well-
I suppose you can't come in, but everybody else is. So I don't know how many people are not vaccinated that were in that group. Like Richard, are you vaccinated?
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it's
I see.
been-
Okay,
it's been
so it is
over
a problem.
2 years. 2 years it's been since we've seen our grandma. She lives in Quebec,
Okay.
and it's
I see.
insane what they're forcing people to do to travel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eric
But
Lawyer's
we know-
not vaccinated either.
We have two
Or-
events, the one that you guys just mentioned here in Ottawa, August 8th through 12th, and then the NFPA is having their next event in 2023. Next year,
Right,
Well,
so they
you
have
know,
it once
I
a year,
could-
right?
Las Vegas.
I could give it some serious thought. I have to check with the matriarch of the house. But yeah, I don't know. It seems to me, boy, this would be, if it's an international convention, whoever can make it, if we could be deputized to represent the organizations.
Sandra just reminded me as well that 9/11's crawling up on us, the 21st anniversary, 3 months away. Last year, this time, we were already planning for the 20th anniversary events. So that's going to
Yeah.
crawl up on us fast here too. Start thinking about things that to do then. I'm sorry, Kale, did you have anything else?
That's it. And
Thank
thank you again guys, for everything you do.
Susan? Muted?
There I am. Okay. I just wanted to say, I hope that our success, our purported success, time will tell how successful really it will be, but it exceeded our expectations. That this helps reignite some of the groups around the country that have fallen by the wayside and are no longer active. And I'm hoping that that happens. Furthermore, I hope they can help raise funds once they're reenacted, get back into the game of 9/11 truth. That they are inspired enough to do what Boston did, because we're not a big group. We got you all well fooled. We're a bunch of aging old 9/11 truthers, and it was shrinking dramatically. And this reignited Boston 9/11 truth. So I'm hoping the same happens for other groups across the country, and that we can get Eric Lawyer and Raul Angula to go to other events. I'm hoping that they can make themselves available once the funds are available to go to other events and repeat the action. Yeah, so that's basically it. And yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, Richard, prepare yourself for Vegas next year.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I bet we could get
Yeah.
Raul and Eric there. I don't know anybody who's kind of anywhere near active in Vegas, but we do have a
Right.
structural engineer there. That's Steve. Oh dear. Steve. Anyway,
Oh,
he's
Steve.
in-
Oh, yeah,
he's in
Steve.
Experts Speak Out. And so it would be awesome, but you know, you need a Boston 9/11 truth type group to pull the fundraising off necessary for these things. Flights are only going to be more expensive, not less. And we definitely, maybe it'll be we can, from Richard Gage 9/11, begin a campaign, and I've already done that in my write-up, which is going out this afternoon, about the NFPA convention event. We can begin to set seeds for fundraising for the next one, and we could do it from my organization. I now have 9,000 people on my email list, and we can raise funds for that. I got to get the film made first, 9/11 crime scene to courtroom, with the Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry. We're working hard on that the next 3 months. But after that, we will be able to think about motivating people to go to the next NFPA convention. Hopefully
Right,
they'll let
and-
us in.
And the, yeah, there's that. But I mean, the thing is, the upside is that you have a year right now because you barely had a couple of months to set this thing up. And you've done a lot of the legwork, you have the material. So it's really just the fundraising. And you know, maybe something will grow from the people who signed up on Papa. They might want to support your presence at the next convention. That could be a whole new group of people that you can lean on for this specific initiative, maybe.
Yes. Good point.
Richard, was it Stephen Dusterwald or Stephen
Yes.
Barash?
Thank you. No,
With
uh,
this guy.
Stephen Barash is a high-rise architect. Yeah, that's Stephen Dusterwald. He's very good with these shows. In fact, he and I went to a structural engineering conference and set up a Building 7 booth in Las Vegas, and it was created all kinds of controversy there.
Excellent.
Wow.
Nice. Lawrence, you're up.
I just want to support the idea of people in Canada who are interested in this, in procuring passes to this event, if they can, for free. As many people in this community as possible, or they're wanting to attend, and sticking to the script. This fire prevention and safety is key, and people know almost immediately what it's relating to. So, but sticking to the script right from the very beginning, just not going into it at all with any intent of communicating about 9/11, but sticking really close to the mechanics, the technical stuff. You get people asking questions, and a lot of people, like you said, are already aware of this and will kind of tell you what they're looking at. But yeah, Canada is a great opportunity. This is the International Firefighters Association convention, so hopefully people will get together and attend this with this intent.
Thank you, Lawrence. Ross.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe, if Eric and Raul are going to continue to be committed to this, these conventions, they could easily start up a GoFundMe page, independently as firefighters. And that, I started one up called Twin Towers Everywhere. And of course, if you look on my Facebook page, you know exactly what I think about 9/11. And I even mentioned 9/11 in there, and they approved it. So, and I've been getting donations. I haven't started a full-blown promotion of it yet, but that'll happen on July 4th. But they may be able to start a GoFundMe page. And I mean, I would think at the very least, you're going to get, when you share that, you'll get it under the noses of all the fire departments and under the nose of the organizers of the convention. And then that might be a way to test the waters to see, well, did they like you there before? Or anyway, they could probably get away with that. I don't think any of the truth groups could, but on GoFundMe, but they might. Eric and Raul.
Worth a try, yeah. Thank you.
I'll tell them.
Al?
Yeah, I just want to say, keep in mind that we went in under the name of PAPA, which is Protect All Protectors Alliance, and that was a real soft sell, and we aligned ourselves with the firemen. And you're not going to get a lot of pushback when you're making them the people that you're trying to protect. And I think that the other thing is that interview with Eric and Raul should be sent out to every place you can think of, because it's got legs. It goes right to the heart of everything. And if you're looking to educate people, it's the perfect conversation. I don't think you'll find anything quite as direct as that.
Well, let's clarify that, Al. It goes right to the heart of the situation as far as firefighters, fire protection engineers, those in the fire industry. It's a little bit irrelevant to 99% of the population, though, because it's just a discussion that goes right over their heads. So if Boston 9/11 Truth is going to put a table out on a street or a courtyard or a fair, then I think the truth booth is going to be much more practical or effective for them. Yes, Building 7 coming down is a great start because it just captures anybody's imagination and intrigue. So, but then it's like, we can mention that firefighters go into these buildings and they have a problem, but it's not a big selling point to the public, members of the public.
I was thinking more of the firefighters if we were trying to approach them.
Yeah. Agreed. In fact, Christopher Joya might take this information, this website, this interview, and send it now
Yes,
to the police chiefs that he's got on his email list.
exactly. If anybody has a way of sending it to them, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll send something, because I can contact John Junger and all those guys. Tim Robbins, Dale Pierce, all the firefighters we know, Tim Duffy. Yeah. Yeah, all those
That
guys.
would be perfect.
Still trying to get a hold of that Captain Patterson. I don't know if you had any, and you're up next anyways, Mikey. You any word from Chris on talking more with Captain Patterson?
Not really. I mean, the last we spoke about it was that Chris confirmed he was not a hoax. He was a real fireman, but as far as contact information, I was relying on you because you said one of your in-laws or outlaws down there got his contact information, but I never was copied on any emails in regards to that.
I think we even have his phone number, don't we?
Hey, I left 2 messages. Actually, now that he said that, he reminded me. So I did reach out twice. Didn't hear
Richard,
anything
did you
back.
ever hear of this, Captain Patterson? Are you
No.
aware of what happened at Ground Zero?
No.
No, this was a fascinating thing.
You have
He
the
came
video?
up-
I'm gonna dig
If
it
you
up
have
here
the
real quick.
video, that's great.
I'll get in there. Keep talking.
This guy showed up in his full gear, outfit. He was a retired firefighter. He showed, and he was really tall and very imposing, and he spoke unbelievably well. Came out of nowhere and immediately just drew a bunch of people in and spoke to everybody about 9/11. And he even had like a sign in his hand. Can't remember what the sign said. And I was just like, how do we not know about this guy? And how is he not involved with 9/11 truth? And we really wanted to, there he is. Okay, go ahead.
Wow, impressive.
Can you think you can play it with sound?
Sure. I think
NDA should have their eyes on him.
I might have to I'm not sure if I left sound on. Son's playing video games next door. So
Killing your internet.
yeah, he's really
Adam, take a break.
Really. We go back to 720 pixels. Work. Let me try to stop my reshare. Share my video. There we go.
Black lights and prevented FDNY from going in the building.
Hey, which one am I sharing?
No, we're not seeing anything. We're just
was
seeing a
working.
gray screen.
Give me 1 second.
There you go.
I have to go to 480.
The FDNY?
Yes.
Yes.
Retired captain.
They give you the little blurb, but this column went and the whole thing. Okay, that's it. Next question. Hang on a minute. I was there when 7 was burned. That was a fire. I went to high-rise fires in my career that were worse than 7. We could have put 7 out. Guess what happened? There were paramilitary uniformed guys with sunglasses.
Got a little weird.
Insignia, black rifles, and prevented FDNY from going in the building. Isn't that weird? Building's on fire. I'm in the fire department. What are you doing? Right.
So if anybody couldn't hear him there, he said there are black paramilitary men dressed all in black with rifles preventing the firefighters from going into 7. But I had interviewed a firefighter up in Little Italy that said, Kat and I did, actually Kat there in the video. We went up and interviewed a guy and he says, look, we were just about to walk in there and our captain told us, get out of there. You're not going in there. And he said, Gene, 60 seconds later, the building came down behind us. Which I want to re-interview him to find out if he heard explosives.
Who was that?
Explosions. That was a guy that a different guy, I don't know his name. I asked him if I could put him on video. He said, absolutely not. As soon as he retired in 6 years, he said he's getting the hell out of New York. That was 2 years ago. So I'm going to go back to, there's a ladder company in Little Italy. I'm going to go back and see if I can re-interview this guy. But
Little Italy. I didn't know they had a ladder company. I know
Maybe
they
it's
have
not
engine
ladder.
55.
maybe that's it. I don't understand the difference between ladders and hooks and engines and
Ladders, basically, they go up to rescue, and engines, they supply the water.
No, thank you. All right.
Well, it was really fascinating because again, he came out of nowhere. Nobody knew who he was. He was obviously convinced enough to stand there for a couple of hours and speak to everybody.
Yeah.
And we just figured he should be such a key player. I mean, he's not afraid to talk to people. He's very credible.
I was trying to get a video of his paper. Actually, there says WTC 7, and I believe the other side of the paper said inside job.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
I caught him dipping his hand once, I think.
Is he still alive?
He was there
he
last
is.
year. This is last year.
Yep. Les Jameson got to talk to him. Payman, if anybody knows Payman.
Has he been checked out, like his credentials and all?
Yeah, Christopher Joya says he's legit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we thought for the longest time that he was just, you know, an infiltrator or that he was up to no good. But apparently he checked out.
But he
Yeah,
was
well-
seen, wasn't it true that he was seen at January 6th?
Yeah, yeah, I got a video of that.
But who was that? Nah,
Huh?
there's no way I'm going to get lucky enough to see.
Yeah,
Bring it up.
you will. Not on YouTube though, probably.
I thought that's. I'll take one try at it. Let's see. No, there's no way. Always when you use YouTube, put it by any other filter and you'll actually see what you're looking for. No, it's not there. Oh well. But yeah, this is a guy. I'll try to leave another message. Let him know about Papa.
Well, maybe it would be more effective if someone, you know, like Chris or someone who's in the field or
Yeah,
someone with credentials
actually.
could reach out to him because, you know, who are we? I mean,
That would make more sense if we could get this polished up. That
or even Eric for that matter.
if Eric could explain to Chris Joya what it transpired in a fireman's level, and then Chris Joya could talk to Chief Patterson since he's already spoken to him once. There could be an avenue for something.
Or
I
even
put
if
the
Raul
Jan-
Angulo maybe wanted to reach out to him. I mean, that would carry some weight,
Or
right?
yeah, either or. Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, there's all these disconnected firefighters who should be working together.
Big guys
they could
too.
be
Yeah.
so powerful if they just put their energies in the same place, but they're all kind of disconnected and
Yep,
scattered.
there you could see it. Building 7. Finally got it. The one side of this paper he carried around and said Building 7, and the other said, I think, said inside job.
Yeah, that's how we showed up. He came down to ground zero, and all he did was hold up his sign,
Yeah.
flip it, hold up his sign, flip it, and then he just stood there until people started talking to him. Like, it was really, really impressive the way he pulled it off.
He saw us, and we became one big blob.
Who's got his phone number?
I do. If you would like to reach out to him, Richard, I'll pass it on to you as well.
Very much so.
All right. Richard Chief Patterson.
Yeah, Les Jameson has it as well. I know he took all the information down.
Yeah, that's Les's arm. Let's see where, right there.
Yeah, Les, in fact, he questioned him the most. So if anybody has an idea about what he was saying, it would be Les.
Yep.
Wow, that's huge.
It
You
was
could
huge.
get him on your show, Richard.
Yeah,
Yep, absolutely. So
he was there, and he, you know, people were asking, well, there's rumors that there were explosions on the World Trade Center 1 and 2 before the collapse, and he said, oh, definitely. He said he said it was crazy, the types of explosions going on inside those buildings before they collapsed.
So he was fighting. He was in the buildings.
I don't think, I'm not sure if he was in them or if he was outside, but he was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you see Building 7 coming down?
Yes, he did. That's what he says in the video.
Yep.
Wow. I'll call him today, Gene.
All right. I'll get that.
I don't know why it took me 6 months to hear about this, but I apologize.
No, it's all good.
Well, I think it's even up to us to apologize because, you know, sometimes we have little bits and things that hit our screens and we don't always connect them in a way of, in terms of where do we go with this and who should be aware of this and who should we, I mean, I try really hard to find these connections between people and cities and angles, you know, not everybody has the same angle. So it's like, okay, well, if you're approaching this, you might want to speak to that person because that person knows a lot and you guys have something in common. So I try really hard to always be on top of that, but somehow
There it
we
goes.
tried to reach him, we couldn't reach him, and then that was pretty much it. It kind of stopped there.
Yep.
Yeah, everything was in turmoil, and the 20th anniversary was a pretty draining day. And I know Les And
Yeah.
I was pretty concerned with that banner that was going to be flown the next day too. So I know that I didn't get the information from the guy. Les did, but when you
I just forwarded it to Richard. He's got the phone number now.
Yeah.
All you do now, if you pause the video. Miles, you're up.
Yeah, okay. Something else occurred to me. In fact, I have personal experience doing this. I worked for a large corporation, and every building every high-rise building is required to have fire safety, life safety, risk management plan of some sort. And in fact, one of my jobs at one point was conducting this training where I was training the floor fire marshals, and these people are the ones that are entrusted, they're volunteers to get the floor evacuated. And the training included explaining how a modern high-rise is evacuated, namely that the incident floor where the fire has broken out and somebody's pulled the alarm, that floor immediately goes into evacuation mode or alert, or constant ringing shrill bell, and the floor above and the floor below. And so those 3 floors immediately evacuate out of the building, down and out the exits. And in fact, I conducted tours of the fire marshals down and out, so they knew the different routes. So this is an entire population demographic that also needs to be updated, because we can say to them, oh, you may have heard that ordinary combustibles can cause the free fall collapse of high-rise structure. But rest assured, as far as the NFPA is concerned, that is not to be a concern. And so anyway, bottom line is, to my knowledge, every high-rise building has to have a program for training for building safety and evacuation. And so they all need to be updated as well.
Yeah, here's NIST's update for everybody. If anybody hasn't seen this, in case of a fire, building may collapse or near free fall. So exit building quickly. Oh, it's just a joke. I wanted to start hanging these up in buildings. So I made a bunch of little cards.
Send me a copy too, Gene. I'll put that on my
Sure.
Facebook.
Thank you, Miles. Al or Mike Zarzano, good to see you. Florida's in the house with Trina.
With Trina, yeah.
He's
Mike,
getting-
you're on mute.
Yep.
And maybe you stepped away from.
Yeah, Mikey Zarzano, if you're there, unmute.
Yeah, and real quick before he does come
Oh,
in,
I'm
this
sorry.
is Trina. Oh, sorry, Mike. Go ahead. Sorry, I'll hold.
Okay, thanks, Trina. I just had a question for the group. With the recently released 500 pages, I believe Biden administration released, has anyone been able to review the entire 500 pages? And was there any interesting information found? I've scanned over 400 of it, but I still have 100 to scan over. I would love to hear any comments. I yield.
The 500 pages of what exactly?
I believe it was the 28-page controversy involving a lawsuit in Miami.
I'm just becoming aware of it now from you. Thanks for sharing that, but I have not. Anybody? Richard, have you heard about a 500-page review of the 28 pages that just recently happened? No.
No.
All right.
Mike, do you want to
I
give a little bit
believe
of
that
background
was
on that?
the Saudi financing.
I believe it was with the case in Miami, a judge that had withheld, a lot of information, and it's slowly been trickling out. And I have the file of the 500 pages that was released. I think it was about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. And it was involving a case in South Florida, Miami area. I forget the case that it was, but it was involving the Saudi participation, the Saudi officials, the Sarasota family
Right.
that fled.
That's what I understood.
Yeah, I'll dig into it and try to report back next week.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Oh,
I don't know if you probably can't send us a 500 page. Well, I guess it wouldn't be that. If you could send it to me, email or if you have a link to
okay.
something, that'd be good.
All right.
Thank you.
Listen.
Alfred.
Yeah, I just don't know how to do an avatar, so I guess.
Yeah,
Oh, you-
this is more directed at Richard, but on our Boston 9/11 webpage, they've taken down two of the, YouTube has taken down two of Richard Gage's interviews.
Oh.
One of us, and I've forgotten what the other one was, but I wanted to know from Richard if he's been experiencing the same problem. But I had to get a hold of Doug West to get them reposted from another, I think Rumble or one of those. But it's a serious problem. It's been happening to us regularly. And I didn't know if anybody else had experienced it.
Hi, Alfred, it's Trina.
Hi, Trina.
Yeah, I don't know so much about YouTube, but at our last TAP board meeting, John O'Malley mentioned that his meetup group was just taken out completely without any warning. No, you're up for warning, be careful what you're doing. But I guess the DC meetup 9/11 group was just dismantled by meetup.com.
Wow. So Meetup is into censorship too now.
Yes.
That's
so wanted to
crazy.
report on that too. It's
Yeah, thanks.
quite, you're welcome, quite the problem. I mean, and then anything you guys do put together, what we're discussing tonight, I'd be more than happy to get it, once our website's ready, get it on there and also include it in all of our Truth Booth materials that are handed out. So we'll just keep pushing this ball. I'd love to help.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Was that
I
all you
put that
had,
in
Trina?
chat.
I'm so-
Yeah, that's all I have. I put that in chat, but I wasn't sure. I want to make sure you guys knew I had said that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
If anybody,
Did Doug West get a hold of you?
Trina, did
Are
Doug
you
West?
talking to me? Is
No.
that direct?
Richard Gage.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, not recently. Why?
Well, about your site, your videos being taken down on YouTube.
Yeah,
think-
Doug didn't contact me about that, but yes, my site did get taken down. The Richard Gage 9/11 YouTube channel has been taken down. The third strike was for hate speech, and that was on my webinar, which is a technical webinar. I don't know what they were referring to. They don't give you a quote. They don't give you a time code. So that was my third strike, and that channel's down. I've got another channel with two strikes on it. That's Richard Gage 9/11 again. And now I have a utility site called RG 911 Webinars, which I'm using to host the videos from the NFPA conference. I'm wondering if anybody knows if you can, once a YouTube channel is taken down, if I can put another one back up with the exact same name and reload it with some of the non-offending video.
You need to talk to Doug. He put them back up for us, but I don't know.
Yeah, but he could only, he put them back up because he connected them, he took them from another website. But
That's
if it's
right,
down
yeah.
on YouTube, then there's nothing anybody can do. You're up against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we backed everything up. We're on BitChute, Rumble, Rockfin, Odyssey, and others.
This is why, if anybody can see my screen, this is why YouTube is becoming more and more difficult. If you just look for Richard Gage 911, it doesn't pop up anywhere here. You have to, and I'm gonna keep telling you this tip because this is the most important tip if you're ever searching for a YouTube video. On filters, take it from relevance to anything else. and then you'll start to see things trickled through, like here. It still doesn't call out his channel, but you can see that this video was posted on Richard Gage 911 again. And there's where you could get to his channel to subscribe to it. That's just always frustrating. Like for one more instance, Larry Silverstein confronted Luke. That should bring it up. You won't see it here. But if you go back to filters, again, don't go on relevance, go on anything else. Here's him, here's him confronting him the second time, and here's him confronting him the first time. That's unbelievable. But it won't show up if you're under the relevance, because they like to just blackball that stuff.
Because that's how they
Hilarious.
censor, right? Because
Actually
it
is.
defaults to relevance, and they can put it all the way at the bottom somewhere.
Yep. It's becoming more difficult, YouTube.
What a bunch of bastards.
Yep.
Great tip, Gene. Thank you.
Yeah. Al, anything else?
No, I just want to keep promoting that interview to any firemen that are out there.
Yep. Again, the domain name is protectingall.org, and or you can go to Boston911truth.org. Both of them have it.
But Al, I mean, is there anything stopping you from pulling up? I mean, I'm sure they all have websites in the various cities and states. If you find contact information on those websites, just send them off one by one. And, you know,
What are
with a
you
short
referring to?
paragraph introducing this might be of interest to you, blah, blah, whatever.
I'm sorry, who were you suggesting I send
Well,
it to?
because you wanted to get that video out to firefighters, right?
Yeah, I think we all should. Yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying it's not really that complicated. If we track down the websites of the fire stations or whatever in our cities, in our states, you know, just send them off one by one with a small paragraph saying.
Yeah, Lorenzo already did that to the Hudson Fire Department.
There you go.
So Almago letter declared an action item. All of us, you don't have to, and it's easy. You have the link, take up a couple sentences and send an email to anywhere between 1 and 10 fire departments in your area. That's our action item homework for the week.
Everybody on this call, 10 emails by next week.
Thank you,
Now
Al.
our task.
Very good.
Heat to the fire.
Mikey Perazzo.
Okay, so I follow this page on Facebook. It's called 9/11 in memoriam or something like that. I don't know if you were seeing it. I think you follow it as well. In memoriam September 11th, that's what it's called. And 3 days ago, they posted a thing about Rob McIlvaine. I think that's how you say his name.
Bob McIlvaine. Bobby.
So I'm trying to find it so I can speak with what I'm. Okay, so here it is. So
what's
it
the
was
group again?
June 8th, in memoriam September 11th. That's the name of the page on Facebook. Well, if I've gotten, this is what Chris told me. I could be wrong, but I heard that he died walking in between the North and South Tower when a bomb went off in the lobby and he died. Is that true or not true?
As I understand it, the way Bob believes it is he was walking, he came from the subway, he was going to Merrill Lynch, but he cuts through the lobby and he was coming up to the lobby of World Trade Center 1. Richard, I don't know if you could correct me.
That's what I understand too.
Well, on this page, they're saying today we pay tribute to Rob, who died on 9/11. And on here they say he was an assistant vice president for media relations at Merrill Lynch and the World Financial Center. Rob was 26, representing his company in the banking conference on the 106th floor at One World Trade Center when the attack occurred. So right there, That's false information. I actually commented saying that, no, he actually died walking in between the two buildings when a bomb went off in the lobby to try and raise some questions out of non-believers, you know what I mean? But then if we could actually have his dad back that up, that would be good, I think, you know?
What part do you think is false information? Because he wasn't walking between buildings. He did walk into the building, and according to what they found, a bomb went off there, and because all of his injuries were in the front, and they're saying that that's basically how he got killed.
The false information is they're saying he was on the 106th floor when it occurred. If from what I understand, his body was actually taken to the morgue. Nobody's body was taken to the morgue if you were in the World Trade Center when it collapsed.
Yeah,
I found
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So they got his wallet and a picture of him. And this was
Do you see where it says that?
June 8th.
It's like the first paragraph
On
right
Tuesday,
there.
On Tuesday morning, he was attending a banking conference on 106th floor.
But there's another part that says when the attack occurred. Yeah, keep going up a little more. Up. No, the other way. Right there. When the attack occurred. Keep going up. More up more. North, not south.
Wait. Let me just look up when. When the attack. There we go. Okay. Assistant for Media Relations Merrill Lynch was representing his company in a banking conference on the 106th floor when the attack occurred. I wish we could confirm they would still have record of when that conference was being held. Was that conference held at 9:03 a.m., 8:46, or at 8:46, forgive me. I hate to play devil's advocate. The one thing I always question, this is going to sound horrible, playing devil's advocate against Bobby McIlvaine, that he fell from height and the damage where he had missed, and forgive me again for this, missing half his face, one arm missing, glass all through his chest. Is that a body passing through the sky lobby glass ceiling? Did he fall from height? But I didn't hear Cyril Weck say conclusively as he was looking in that video clip in Unspeakable. He asked the question. He says, I can't tell if the damage was done from an impact or an explosion. But they cut in the video and it comes back and he says, well, then it had to be from some type of an explosive effect. But I would love to hear what happened in the conversation between those two things. Did he see a pic? Did Cyril Weck get to see a picture of Bobby's, cranium? Anyways.
So another thing is whenever I've been engaging people this week to tell them about World Trade Center 7, they automatically tell me there was diesel oil or diesel fuel in building 7 and that's why it collapsed. What do I come back saying? Because I keep telling them that's not true. It's not in the fire report. But what are other things I can say when people say that to me?
NIST has confirmed that there was no diesel contribution to the Building 7 fires. NIST themselves, in the form of Sham Sunder. That should put them to silence.
Yeah,
okay.
Also, the Con Ed sued FEMA, but FEMA stated that same thing, and it was a Con Ed oil depot down there. Con Ed sued them, and they won the lawsuit. FEMA had to retract it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here it is, Mikey. If you have to know this clip, but if just in case you didn't know this clip, this is Sham Sunder saying it was not caused by fuel oil fires.
It did not collapse from explosives or from fuel oil fires. World Trade Center 7 collapsed because of fires fueled by office furnishings. It did not collapse from explosives or from fuel oil fires.
He looks down, guilty. It's so awful. How he had a straight face to be able to say that to people. He just lied through his teeth.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
He's got a nice Swiss account, Swiss bank account. though.
I swear John Gross had to have retired because he used to have a page on his website that's gone now. If you email him, which I try, and it bounces back now, so I can no longer be a pain in his ass through his emails. Susan, you're up.
Oh, goodness.
And I want to. It's 6:48. I want to start winding this down too. I know we got a list here.
Yeah. Gosh, I forgot what I wanted to say. Let me think for a moment. Oh, yeah. Back on the idea of reigniting groups. I would hope that any administrators or influencers of their local groups will indeed share this information about an FPA and particularly the interview with Eric Lawyer and Raul Angula. The other thing is we still need a little money, a little bit more money. So, there's Boston 9/11 Truth. What are we, .org or .com? Help me out.
.org.
.org. Okay. Boston911truth.org, just to defray Eric Lawyer's costs. Raoul's not asking for reimbursement, even though he paid his own way. But we'd certainly love to be able to pay an honorarium for these 3 heroes that man the booth. So, yeah, pony up. And let's repeat this. Let's repeat this. Like who was it who was saying, it's not just the national conventions, but the little training conventions.
Yep.
This is after 20 years, this is an idea that has actually brought fruit, been successful. Dealing with their specific concerns. It's an amazing formula and what we need to keep doing going forward.
Amen.
Thank you.
So donate now because it is expensive.
As soon as I had frozen my debit card, but as soon as I get my new credit card, I'll pledge another 100 for you.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
I thank you, Eric. Thanks you.
It was a great success. Love it. Thank you. Ross, you're up.
Yeah, just quickly, 2 things. I think Bob McIlvain, Richard may know, but I believe that his son's body was found outside the building of World Trade Center 1. It was not in the building. He was entering the building and he was found outside the building.
Yeah.
And his body was removed well prior to any of the collapses, which in other words does mean he was down below on the ground floor. He wasn't up above somewhere. So that leads to a lot of conclusions, I think. But then lastly, I'll say, of course, Gene is very famous for being there at Ground Zero on the anniversary. And there's a lot of people that go. And we get a lot of attention. I, of course, live in New York, so it's easy for me to get there. But Richard, I was always hoping we would see you there. You would get, of course, many times more attention than we get, I think. So it's a very powerful experience. I'm sure you understand that. And maybe that's why you don't like to go, because you're so involved in it all the time. But
No, I'd love to go to New York. I didn't go this year because there was a big to-do at AE 9/11 Truth, but I was scheduled to speak at the conference that we were planning, and the lawyers committee was planning, but it went virtual. So anyway, I'm on my own now outside of AE 9/11 Truth. So
we'll provide.
What?
I said we'll provide security for you, if you do come down to Grenville.
Yeah, he was there in 2017 for I think it was a successful, we did a movie, like a movie thing out in Foley Square.
Yeah.
We had a good turnout that night. That was great.
Yeah,
But
and the
we're
thing is
gonna-
that every year, Richard has always had like, engagements with AE that had him having to be somewhere specific on the 11th of September. So, yeah, that plays into it, right?
Yeah, and this year I'll be running the film festival, the 9/11 Film Festival that's usually run by San Francisco 9/11 Truth. So we're going to be collecting and showing films and having speakers. That will be our conference for the fall at Richard Gage 9/11. So that'll be virtual and live streamed. So I don't think I'll be going anywhere this year.
Thank you, Ross. Lawrence, you're up, and then we're gonna go around the horn.
Okay. Regarding communicating with your local firefighters, I highly recommend doing it personal, making it personal. Go to your fire station, hand them hard copy, give them a package of material, talk with them, look at them, get them face to face. It hasn't really worked that well with me and Hudson yet. I've been rejected, but I came back, and again, the latest one was an email, but the first 2 or 3 contacts, the first one was I literally handed him Chris Drury's letter about 2 years ago, well before Boston 9/11 got into the act. I didn't even recognize him when I saw him at the town meeting, because it was just that momentary contact. And he asked me at that time if I wanted to sit down, and I deferred until after he read the stuff, and he just has rejected any possibility of that I have anything to offer that he doesn't already know. So peace.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna try to send stuff digitally, and if I get some response, or maybe even if I don't get a response, then try to go door to door. I really think maybe a one paper with a link to this video, but the video you really can't hand them the video. You kind of have to give them a link to that. So right at this point, getting them to see the videos might be just as effective digitally as it would be to go hand it to them in person.
And you can do both. You can do the
Yeah,
digital.
you can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Around the room for everybody, try to keep it to 30 seconds. And I just want to signing off. Anything you got to say for anybody? We'll start at the end here. I don't know who's 9/11 tap shared account.
That's Trina.
Huh? Okay, Trina, anything for the group? We can't hear you, but you are unmuted.
Oh, how about now?
There you go.
Okay, sorry, it was on my headphones. I said, sorry, I had been, when I first joined, I was on my cell phone that I logged into the meeting, and I wanted to copy and paste all of the information that we had given out in the chat. So I jumped onto my computer to try to copy and paste that, but it started me at square one. So Sandra, I've asked you if you could copy and paste that chat and email it to me.
I'm doing that right now.
Thank you. But just wanted to tell you all that it's a pleasure to be with you, and I thank you all for all of your good work, and would like to help. If Jean, you could send me the packet that we're supposed to contact the 10 fire stations. I have one a quarter mile from my house, so I'll definitely get involved in this homework project. And thanks again, everybody, for everything.
Yeah, thank you, Trina. Gail, anything for the group?
Hey guys, yes, Richard, you might have to mute yourself. Just great listening in to everybody, and the conference was amazing. Just a lot of great connections. Richard and I had something kind of fun going on for a couple of the days where we were almost like tag teaming. So I would like catch some people walking by and get them started and get them really intrigued about the video and the initiative. And then Richard would come over because he'd have a group that needed to have their badges scanned. So he'd take over with the group that I was talking to, and I'd go to his group and scan them. And we were doing like that throughout the day. So it was kind of fun, you know, taking turns with the people. And yeah, so it was great. I agree with everyone. It was a huge success, lots of fun, great people to work with. And I loved getting to meet and know Susan and Chris and Al. Everybody was terrific.
Jane.
And Jane was amazing, you guys. She, as you know, housed Richard and I, and what a sweetheart. She is just like the most beautiful soul and wonderful host. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, she's one of the silent heroes of 9/11 Truth, Jane Milliken. Yeah.
Yes.
Is that,
Really a trooper.
try to bring this up real quick. Let's see.
Trying to bring up the
Share-
group picture.
I'm trying, is that this lady in the front left? Or
No.
No.
That's Rachel. Oh, it was wonderful meeting Rachel too.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait,
Change
I
at
know
the
what
dinner table.
she was.
Yeah, that picture, yeah.
There's Jane in the blue shirt with the tie-dye look to it.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. She's 80 years old and more energy than I have. She's amazing and brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Full of knowledge.
Okay, so
Thank you.
basically it's Gail, Richard, Jane, then Eric behind her, and then the lady in the front.
That's
Rachel.
Rachel Wood.
Oh, that's Rachel. Okay. Raul Angulo, Al, and Chris. What's his?
Bergier.
Right? Yeah.
He's also from my hometown, Worcester.
Thank you, Gail. Mike Zarzano, anything for the group? You're muted still, Mike.
No, I'm sorry, Gene. I'll pass. Thank you.
Yep. Curtis, thank you for being here, brother. He's a local friend of mine. Trucker. How expensive was your last fill up on the gas tank?
You'll find out this week. I've seen lots of rail cars through Montana, Idaho, out here into, I'm out by Seattle right now. They're just parked. The fuel tankers are parked. There was a big meeting with Pilot Flying J, which is one of the largest fueling companies across the United States for the trucking industry. And a week ago, there's fighting with Pacific Railroad to get them to bring product in, and it's not coming. There's a fuel shortage coming on the East Coast. I'm telling you right now, so be ready.
Thanks, Curtis. And I saw his last picture of his fill up was over $1,000 to fill his rig.
Almost $1,200 for a 2-day run. I filled up in Ohio, ran down to South Carolina, came back to Pennsylvania. It was $1,200.
Thank you, brother.
See ya.
Well, it's going to lead to food shortages and everything else.
That's why I'm saying stock up now. Don't wait. Go now, because you all saw what happened to toilet paper.
Right.
Thank you, Curtis. Susan?
Well, I think I actually said everything I wanted to say. So, yeah, I'm just still busy with the lawyers committee accounting stuff. I do boring stuff.
No, it's vital. Thank you.
It's not boring for her, though.
I love it, but it's boring to everyone else.
Thank you, Susan. Al?
Yeah, a couple of things. On the fireman emails that we sent out back when we were doing our mailings to the fire chiefs, this is addressed to our group. I'd love to get that interview sent out on an email if anybody wants to volunteer to help me. We had 450 odd fire chiefs in Massachusetts that we sent it out to. So need some help with that. And then where do we go, Gail, for the videos from the that you took on the conference? I know you took a lot of them, so I was really anxious to see that.
I'll be posting those, Al, today on our website.
Oh, good.
In about an hour.
Wonderful. Great.
Thank you, Al, and I'll let you know. I'll talk to Chris too, because Sandra and I have a list from the geez, help me out here. Heroes.
Justice for 9/11 heroes.
Thank you. Justice for 9/11 Heroes. All the signatories to that too, that we could email this to.
Great.
And Al, don't forget that we still have our list from the packet we mailed out 3 years ago to the Massachusetts fire departments.
Yeah, that's what I
And,
was referring to.
yeah, we still have that list. I
Oh,
don't know
good.
how obsolete it is after 3 years,
Right.
but it's certainly something we can work off of.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'd love to see that.
Well,
Okay.
send it to all of them, whatever bounces, bounces.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you. Kale. Mr. Hawaii, you're up.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Guys, the children want to say something to you guys.
Thank you for trying to save our future.
Right on. That's cool. Right on, brother.
What
little
Aloha, guys.
That's what it's all about, your future.
Exactly, right?
Wow, that was awesome. Great
Miles.
kids, Kaylee.
Well,
Kale.
I think I shared with everybody that I'm in Toastmasters. I actually belong to 2 Toastmaster clubs, and I've been elected vice president public relations in one, and possibly I'll be vice president public relations in the second club. And I met with this gentleman who's very much into the organization, and I explained to him that the challenge is to create the club that can handle the unsettling questions. And I told him about some of my unsettling questions, and I also, and don't flip out. I'm not promoting directed energy, but I said, like, here, for example, where did the towers go? And I said, this is building 7 in the photo. Did you know that one fell late in the afternoon, never struck by any plane or anything? And as you can see in the photo, very solid looking, while the other buildings are strangely just being pulverized. And he was basically stunned into silence. But anyway, I'm continuing to work that angle. And I actually once met the Calgary fire chief, and I actually have his business card here. He's in charge of I think it's 6,000 people in his crew and 20 fire stations. So there's a lot of people that need to hear this. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. For those that don't know, Toastmasters is now it's international group of people that basically teach public speaking, leadership, communication skills. And I'm just reading on my side screen here. It was founded by Ralph Smedley in 1924. And I've always wanted to go to a Toastmasters and try to get into it, because they will teach you how to get better at public speaking, but just have not done that. Recommend it though.
Smedley. Does that
Not-
have to do with,
Not Smedley Butler, no.
no.
Mikey Perrazzo, you're up.
Ross, is that your name?
Yeah.
I don't think we're friends on Facebook, and I'd like to be, because I go to New York quite frequently and I'd like to meet up with other truthers. So is there a way we could be friends on Facebook so we could coordinate that?
Yeah, the only way you'll find me, they've got me kind of hidden there. I'm not, and it's, if you type Ross Muir, UIR, and then New York, and then that'll bring it up, and usually brings it up, and it's my face. I'm with my eyes wide shut, they're closed.
Okay.
And then you'll see a big picture of the Twin Towers behind it. There you go. That's it. Yeah.
He's soaking in the sun.
Yeah.
Right on.
And I'm still that age. Anyway.
Thank you. Anything else, Mikey?
No, that's all.
Thank you. Sean, good to see you.
I'm speechless.
You want to take
Thank you,
down
Sean.
the screen share, Gene?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oop. Okay. Thank you, Sean. Richard, you're up. Anything for the group?
Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks for Gene for hosting. We're all excited. Check out our post. By the way, if you're not on our email list, that's the way to make sure you get all of the podcasts. So that's Richard Gage, excuse me, what is it? Well, you go to richardgage911.org and you can, on the right, donate or subscribe. You can subscribe for free. And then you'll get our emails. So that post about this event will be up in about an hour. So give me some time. I gotta get back to it after this call.
Thank you very much for joining, Richard.
Thank you.
And everybody skipped around here now. Let me do a quick
Alright.
scan.
Yeah, you want to just quickly take it down again?
Did Ross, Sandra, did Lawrence get you?
Sorry?
I think Lawrence and then Sandra, and we're done. Lawrence, anything for the group? Nope. Sandra.
I want to make this quick because I know everybody's like want to get going, but I shared this, but some people don't know. I was downtown. I have a gig that I do on the road once a month for work, and I was walking past the fire station. Was not thinking of the fire station. I just walked, and there was 3 firefighters sitting outside in front of the fire station, and I made that snap decision in that moment to take all the courage that I have into my own 2 hands and talk to them, because it's not something that I do very easily. I'm much more comfortable behind the keyboard and behind a screen. So just walking up to, strangers and talking to them is so not my thing, but I did. And that's how I opened. I just said hi, and I said, it's going to take me all my courage to do this. So hopefully I got their defenses down. And I said, but I have a question to ask you. And I asked them about World Trade Center 7, if they knew about it. They didn't. We got into a whole conversation. They asked questions, and yeah, that's how it just quickly played out. And it wasn't that complicated, and it gave me courage to keep on doing it. And I'm just have to get over my, over that hump of, it's not easy for me. It really isn't.
I want to take my turn too, Gene. The same thing happened when I approached my fire chief, Sandra. I was like gasping for air.
Yeah, it's hard.
At that meeting, yeah.
It's hard. But the thing
We're not all Richard Gages.
No, but the thing is, I realized that if you phrase it as a question, where you're asking them, like, because that was the question. I said, would you, as firefighters, would you be afraid to go into, we have a building that's also 47 stories, into Placeville Marie? If a couple of floors were on fire, would you be worried that this building would fall down on you? And they were like, well, no, of course not, I said, but that's what happened. And, doesn't that concern you? So it was more in terms of questions instead of like, here's what you need to know, right? Like,
right.
I'm going to tell you what approach. Think. Right. So, but what was interesting is it just happened naturally. I just went there, I opened my mouth, and whatever was going to come out was just me talking in the best way I knew how. And you know what? It's going to have to be good enough.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So, yeah.
I want to say every year I go to Ground Zero, and I think I am absolutely crazy, and I can't speak for usually the first hour, and then I start holding my sign, and then next thing you know, just one thing happens after another. You keep pushing yourself out of the circle of comfort, and
yeah,
it comes.
It really is that, yeah.
But yeah, from what I hear from the NFPA conference, if it wasn't for Richard, Raul Angulo says that he just sort of sat back, but Richard was out there grabbing everybody that walked by that he could get his hands on. So yeah,
it was like grabbing fish out of a barrel. It really was.
Shooting fish in a barrel.
Thank you, shooting him.
I felt like I was hosting an open house in real estate. I've never talked to so many people in my career as I did at that convention.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Can we go back to Ross real quick?
With practice.
Yeah.
You have something to say, Ross?
Yeah, quickly, I get back into New York City this week, and I've already taken another 15 miles on the skateboard, and already plenty of long conversations. Spent about 8 hours doing that, talking to people. And I'll be going this week down to Ground Zero to the memorial. I'll be at my friend Brian Cummings' location. I'll go to Bob and McIlvaine. We'll go to Matt Campbell's brothers' location. And there's also fire ladder number 11, which is the fire department right next to World Trade Center 2, where that used to be. And I'll go into that because that's probably the most prominent station regarding 9/11 that there is. So I'll go in there. I've been in there before. And the last thing, I think we all have a responsibility as, truthers, to talk about or think about what the upcoming false flag might be, since we know a little bit about false flags. And since I believe we should do that, I do have a feeling that maybe before July 4th, you're going to be talking about a war between, an expanded war now between China and Taiwan, which will then allow the Fed to let the bond yields, have them drop and stop raising interest rates, which they kind of have to do. That'll be their excuse. That's going to cause our lives, as there's some people are wanting to change more than they have ever changed. Maybe not with regard to the laws that we changed on 9/11, but in terms of finance, it could be a big problem. And that's happening, I think, either this summer or July 4th. So just a little heads up, maybe.
Thank you very much for that, Ross. Let's not let my buddy Curtis's warning go unheard. If you don't at least have a couple weeks of stuff for you and your family, you should get some extra supplies, I think. So, all right, everybody, have a great evening. Thank you for being here. Have a great week. We'll talk to you.
Gene, can I add to that?
Sandra.
Please do.
Because
Go ahead.
we've had our eye on the prepping the food in Costco right now. I don't know about your Costco, but they got the what is it? Ready to eat meals, 140 servings, down to $64 again. It was up to 100 and something, or not. You couldn't even find it. Sorry, just wanted to add to that.
All good.
Sandra have something to say?
You want to come back, loop in with Sandra at the end? Anything for the group? I think you said your piece. Yeah. All right. Everybody have a good night. We'll talk to you.
Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Night.
Good night, all.